It is said, where there is a will, there is always a way. This is true with Blessing Fire, also known as Christyles, who is our guest today. Blessing refused to be confined to a wheelchair so that he could fulfill his passion for dancing. He cleared a lot of obstacles along the way so that he could become one of the best b-boys in the country. Welcome to yet another edition of Proudly Able, a program that brings to you inspiring stories of persons with disabilities. And my name is Ratidzo Mchairi. Let's sit, relax, and get inspired by Christyles.
My name is Blessing Fire. I was born in 1989. I was born with a disability, deformed legs, so I was actually given a wheelchair at a very young age. When I was born, my mom was asthmatic, so she found it very hard to carry me around. That's why I really got a wheelchair at a very young age. So growing up with disability, when I was in preschool, I didn't feel much of a difference. Everything was okay. Playing around with all the kids, all the teachers didn't have a problem with me. I actually didn't feel like I had a disability.
When Blessing started his primary education, he was stigmatized to an extent of losing all his confidence, and he felt worthless on this earth.
I started feeling the difference when I went to primary school. You know, the playing ground got bigger. The number of people that are there, it's now different people from different communities and everything like that. And you know, we would play around, some kids would tease me and everything like that, till we started getting a punishment from the teacher that we had to stand in front of the class. And I was finding it very difficult because actually I had operations on both of my legs. I had a pin on my right leg, and I actually had another operation on my left leg. So the problem got worse, and my mom started noticing some changes. So she asked me, why is it like this now? And I told her, every time we mess around, the teacher give us this type of a punishment. So my mom and the doctors, they gave a complaint to the headmaster that they were okay with the teacher treating me like other children. Even if it means to beat me up like other kids, it's okay, but not getting this type of a punishment. I think after that meeting, that's the day I hated everything. You know, I hated the day I was born, and I hated being on this earth. Because the teacher came to me, then she said to me, you know, we don't tell parents what happened at school. So your mom, she's gonna be your teacher. And she told everyone that don't be like Blessing. That's the first day she started saying, I'm not gonna mark your books. And that's the day she separated me from everybody. So the other kids will start making fun of me, and she will always shout my name, don't be like him. So the teacher stopped teaching me from grade 1. And I don't remember much learning or being treated like other kids when I went to grade 2. And when I'm walking around in the school, the teachers will be just like, oh, that's the child, oh, that's the child. And this other teacher will just say, I'll beat you up and you're going to tell your mother. And I didn't understand what was the story about, so I didn't have much of a memory learning well in primary school. I was now slow when I went to grade 4, and the teachers were already expecting me that that's the problem child and he doesn't really do well. I wasn't doing well with my grades, and I grew up with a lot of anger. I grew up with a lot of hate inside me, you know. I teamed up with one of my friends who was also in a class. The brother was dark in complexion, and the teacher gave him a name because of that. And there were other 2 twin brothers. I mean, I won't mention the names, but they were also like twin brothers, and the teacher also gave him a funny name. So we teamed up the 4 of us, and we started dodging school. And it was just coming out of that anger that we didn't belong to anywhere, and I hated that I had disability. I hated that I had lived or doing anything because I couldn't find my purpose and I couldn't fit in, and other kids would just tease me like, you know, I couldn't read, I couldn't write, you know, I couldn't even speak with confidence.
At high school, things changed for Blessing, as he met some guys who did not look at his disability, and they helped him to gain his self-esteem.
The story changed when I went to high school, because when I went to high school, I met this other guy called Donut. The first day I walked into high school, I was in my wheelchair and my brother dropped me there. And this guy asked me, "What's your name, man?" I said, "My name is Blessing." And he said, "Okay, which class are you in?" I tell him I was actually in the last class of all the people with all the bad grades and everything like that. And this guy, I told him my class. Then he said, "That's my class, bro. Let's go." But this guy took me to the first class, if not the second class of the Form 1s in the school. Then he said, don't say anything, just stay in here. So I started learning with these guys the first week. And the second week, the class teacher or the form teacher came. Then he said, "How come you're learning in this class and your grades are bad and you're not even in our records?" Then I say, "These guys, they put me here. I don't even know what's going on." So the teacher just said, "Okay, just stay." That's how I started catching up. You know, these guys, they had so much love for me, you know what I'm saying? They didn't see me with someone with a disability or anything like that. I started, these guys, they started saying, "Man, if you don't pull up if you don't do well with your grades, they're gonna take you back where you're going." And these guys, they started teaching me how to read. They started teaching me how to do everything like that. That's how I started enjoying school again. But that fear was still in me, and you know, I wanted to belong somewhere. I wanted something that I could do for myself.
Words of mouth can pierce a heart more than a two-edged sword. Blessing could have been destroyed by what people were saying, but he kept on telling himself that he has a mission to fulfill. We're taking a short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our second segment of Proudly Able. Christyles could not go beyond O-level because of the fear of meeting a new group of people whom he did not know how they were going to respond to his disability. Meeting guys who accepted him strengthened his confidence that he was born for dancing.
Blessing, also known as Christyles, was inspired by his brother, who was a gymnast, and he would marvel at him. He started feeling the urge to be like him.
I went to my O-level, and I still had a lot of struggles with fixing, with doing mathematics and some of the other stuff. And yeah, I remember my math teacher in high school, he actually made me put whitewash the whole ground because I couldn't solve simple primary school mathematics. And he's like, "How come you're in high school and you can't even do this math?" So it was all coming from the fear that I had before from the previous. But one thing, I've always wanted to do something good. I've always wanted to do something positive. Besides all the bad stuff that was going on in my mind, I thought I would do drugs and everything like that. I tried to join the smoking club and everything like that, but I actually didn't feel like I belonged. So what then ended up happening is my brother, he's a professional gymnast, and he used to come around with a lot of guys that were into gymnastics and everything like that, and I so wanted to be like them. So I started learning how to do cartwheels. I started encouraging me to do handstand, and started encouraging me to do some of this stuff. And I started practicing, and my arms started getting strong.
He was introduced to dancing on stage at the Miss Harare Junior Beauty Pageant when he was in Form 3.
My brother introduced me to these guys. He said, "Okay, I'll come, but I also got one of my young brothers here with me, and he's talented, you know. He can do handstands and stuff like that." So those guys, they say, "Okay, bring him to the whole crew." So I went there, then we started doing it, and the guys, they like what I did. They just said, "Yo, man, wow, you're a b-boy." I didn't even know what b-boy was, you know what I'm saying? So I started dancing with these guys and I liked it, you know what I'm saying? I went to Form 4, but I wasn't even feeling it anymore. I wanted to go back to the state because the love and everything was different. I met some of the legends that are leading in the industry these days in the entertainment. I mean, John Cole was part of the crew. He was one of the people that I met. Leroy Moses, so they call him Rocksteady, he was part of the crew. There was Adrian, Professor Zanassi. I also met big guys like Adric, they call him the godfather of dance, you know. I met all of these guys, you know, they started taking me to places, and, you know, the whole thing was kind of new to me, you know. So I went to do my O-level, but I was already done with school in my mind because I had fear that, okay, if I'm gonna go to A-level, I'm gonna meet a new group of people, what is it gonna be like? My father was like, you have to go to university. I was like, I'm gonna meet another group of people, what is it gonna be like? You know what I'm saying? Don't take me away from all these people. So I started practicing, pushing myself.
A program called Heart of the Rhythm, produced by Diagnosis, was showing on ZBC TV back then. This program is credited for showing proper hip-hop dancing shows, which inspired Christyles to continue working hard to achieve his full potential in dancing.
There was actually a show on ZBC, on national television, because those days internet was not accessible as these days. And there was a guy called Diagnosis. I always give respect to the big man. He's the first one that showed the proper hip-hop dancing show, of which dancing was another element which was not actually being shown. We actually used to just thought the urban culture, it's all about rapping and other things. And this guy showed a clip from Battle of the Year. He started showing a clip from different B-boys from Nigeria. And I watched it, I was like, wow, man, I want to be like these guys. Next time I'm going to be on TV, and people laughed when I say that, but it was actually, it's something that I wanted, but I didn't know what it was called. I started watching Heart of the Rhythm every week. I started watching how the B-boys do everything like that. Then I started practicing, pushing myself. And when I did my O-level, my pops was like, man, you're gonna continue with school, do everything. But in my mind, I was just like, no. I didn't tell him like that. Even my mother, I didn't tell my mother that this is what went down with the teacher. My mother didn't even know. I mean, I'm telling this story on TV, but I didn't tell my family, you know what I'm saying? Because I had the fear that they will confront them again. And these people will come to me again and things will be worse.
It is said, where there is a will, there is always a way. This is true with Christyles, who had a vision and you took all the necessary steps to achieve it. Although painful sometimes, he never gave up.
I pushed myself to dance, and all I wanted was, I was like, I'm gonna dance, man, I'm gonna win competitions, I'm gonna be a great artist, this is what I'm gonna do, man, you know what I'm saying, and people love me, so what? I don't want anything to do with school, so I started pushing myself to practice, to dance, till we actually did the first competition, which was a Harare Hip Hop Night, and Undisputed, and Diagnosis again came with the cameras and the brothers, and they started filming the whole thing, and my family didn't know about this because I was still the boy using a wheelchair. And I would lie to my mom that, you know, once I get out of the combis, the guys will come and pick me up and take me to the place where we practice. But, you know, I'll take the public transport to town. When I get into town, I would walk even 2 hours to just get where I want to get. So I started pushing myself, and in the night it would be very hard. My legs would be burning, my whole feet would be on fire, and I would just pretend like nothing is going on. So I did that for almost 4 years, I think, just going and I'll be walking in town, practicing and seeing how the city looks like and everything like that. And my talent also started getting better.
Son, they really love me, no doubt, no thing. All this thing I'm whack like he sounds so lame. Someone somewhere in the middle like when Alto sang. But yeah, you might find me fresh off the presses, dressed in a...
Self-belief and self-confidence led Christyles to become what he wanted to be, a b-boy. And for him, he made the right choice. He dances in confidence, he enjoys his career and doesn't regret taking that path. We're taking another short break. Don't go away. Welcome to our third and final segment of Proudly Able. And today our inspiring story is coming from Blessing Fire Christyles, who has proven that disability is not inability. Despite facing a lot of challenges along the way, Christyles has performed in different countries.
Our first dance crew were actually called inmates. We as inmates, we actually made this type of dance famous in Zimbabwe. A lot of young guys started practicing break dancing. They started practicing b-boy because of us. This clip was playing every day on Tizo, every day on TV, and actually my dad didn't know about this. So one time his friends told me that your boy is on TV. Then he said, doing what? And the whole family saw the whole thing on TV. That's when they started appreciating. And they say, man, you can do what you want to do, man. You know what I'm saying? We can support you. Because they were afraid that if I keep on dancing, maybe I might break or something like that. So my whole family started appreciating. The whole neighborhood started appreciating. Because when we started dancing in the streets, people in my neighborhood thought we were crazy. Because we would go in the street, we put cardboards or carpet, we start dancing, you know, b-boy, it's something that our people don't know.
I split up some families, I'm on the cause wreckage. Some don't really get me, they say I'm hard to read.
I think out of my disability, I found a unique ability. There's nobody that can do what this guy can do.
There was another dance or youth organization called Jibilika. They brought Battle of the Year in Zimbabwe for the first time in 2009. And when they brought Battle of the Year, actually my crew lost, but I was the only one selected from my crew, and they selected different guys, other guys from Bulawayo, and we were joined as one crew to go and represent Zimbabwe in South Africa. For me, it was a big thing, you know. Went home, I told my pops, you know, I'm gonna be traveling for the first time, you know. I had my ticket for the airline and everything like that, and the whole family was excited for me. So we went all the way to Cape Town and we did what we did. Everyone was happy.
Venturing into breakdancing and lack of management skills discouraged some of Christyles' colleagues and they gave up. But for him, he soldiered on towards his vision.
When we were doing this, we were doing this with love. We didn't have the knowledge of the industry or how to manage it as artists and everything like that. So a lot happened in that time that even caused other dancers to stop and everything like that. And I kind of stopped for 1 year, but I came back again. We started winning competitions. I remember we also went for I went for Strictly Hip Hop International in Pretoria. I took the first place in b-boying there. We come back here. We'll be doing a lot of competitions. We also went for Africa Hip Hop Indaba as a crew. We won that competition. I came back. We were also running events and another youth organization which focuses on dance. They made me the artistic director. We started working, I mean, just from being a dancer to be a choreographer, from being a choreographer to running this youth movement. You know, now we are actually using art with purpose. We started working with different artists and we started grooming other young people. So yeah, the movement started growing bigger and bigger till we have learned how to also manage other artists and do mentorship and stuff like that. And we have traveled with other young people to France, Battle Rival School, which is actually one of the biggest thing that happens here every year. I've done competitions, I've done workshops. I even traveled to do workshops in other African countries to just go there and do workshops. And yeah, I've also did duos where it's like a 2-on-2 b-boys. I also had the opportunity to meet some of the world famous b-boys from around the world.
People have a problem with people. Christyles encourages people not to be pulled down by what people say about them. They will always have something to say, be it positive or negative.
One thing that I've learned
But one thing that I've realized is that people will always have a problem with people. That's a people's problem. If you've got disability, people will still talk about it. If you are dark in complexion, people will still talk about it. If you've got a small body, people will talk about it. If you've got a big body, people will talk about it. But I mean, all these voices, they're meaningless to your story, or they're meaningless to you, because this is how people see you and this is how people feel about you. But that's not how you feel about yourself unless you accept what they're saying. So in my whole life, what I've learned is like people, they have a problem with the way I walk. People, they have a problem with my body structure. But did I decide to listen to what they say or how they see me? If I decided that, I think I'll be sitting home right now and I think begging for help, you know what I'm saying? But I've seen that people with disability, they are in the streets asking for money. People without disability, they are in the streets asking for money. So the story, is it about disability or it's about how you feel about yourself? I used to do this a lot. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I mean, I used to tell some of my friends that sometimes I just used to go and look at myself in the mirror, and I always speak to myself. I mean, it sounded crazy, but I've learned to speak positive things about myself. You know, I remember the first time I saw Heart of the Rhythm on TV, and I told folks around me that I'm gonna be on TV. So they was like, man, you think you're gonna be on TV? But that was me. Years ago, if I decided to say that, the doctors actually say that if I keep on walking long distances, I'm not gonna walk for long. And I'm telling you, ever since I was 19, I left that wheelchair at home and I gave it away to one of the elders in my neighborhood who had a stroke. If I listened to those things, I started pushing myself to train. I started pushing myself to walk. You know, there is always a way out besides what all these voices are saying. You're still gonna know you are you, and you have got a dream, and don't disappoint yourself, and also don't give up on that dream, because you still got something in you. You still gonna fight for it.
No one ever thought Christyles would become a dancer because of his disability. Even he himself once thought he had nothing to offer in life, but he listened to his heart and followed his vision and passion. Today he can stand tall, for he is one of the people who popularized breakdancing in Zimbabwe. He is a b-boy of repute.
Truly inspirational and a great lesson from Christyles that do not allow people to pull you down, but stay focused. People will always say something about you. With that, we have come to the end of this edition of Proudly Able. If you've got your inspiring story, don't hesitate to get in touch with our producers on the numbers on your screens. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Proudly Able Zim. From me, Ratidzo Mchairi, and the crew behind the scenes, it's goodbye. God bless you.